$92. No thank you. That is the price for a 9-year-old Yazidi girl to be sold to people who are Shiites in ISIS. They are raping these women and they're committing crimes against people. As time goes on, every day that we let go by, they expand, they get stronger. We will not be able to fight them soon if we don't act now. Basically, it doesn't matter what crimes Assad has committed in the past, because he is not committed, he's not expanding like ISIS. He's not committing the same types of crimes that they are doing. Every day that we let them go by, with the money that they take from oil, and with the fact that they have a strong military and they are massacring people and kidnapping them, people are dying. If we let this go on even another month, the amount of people that they kill, no thank you, and the amount of international support they have will create an army, and ISIS will be even more dangerous than Assad ever was. So basically, we think that we can absolutely morally justify allying with Assad in this case because people are dying. It is the most fundamental right that we have as a Western democracy. If we cannot protect their lives, no thank you, then what can we do? And Assad opposition was quick to point out that Assad might not change his course of actions after this. But as we pointed out, it is imperative that we stop ISIS now while we still can. In my second class, which I'm now moving on to, I will explain why Assad and only Assad is the way that we can defeat the Islamic State. Now, we heard from side proposition that Assad isn't strong enough to defeat ISIS, and that is because he failed to secure Syrian land in the past, for example, the Syrian airport. The thing is, one of the reasons Assad didn't manage then was because he isn't going to have the military training, the combination of his army boots and the U.S. Bombings in order to take out ISIS. We are giving him tools with this motion, I'll take you in a moment, that will cause a situation in which he will be much stronger than before, and he will succeed in defeating them this time, yes.
You mentioned Stalin earlier. You have praised the coalition with Stalin, but facts are, Stalin killed 20 million civilians. He did not change afterwards, and he launched the Cold War. Is that what you want again?
Again, this isn't really relevant. This was just an example. Basically, Assad, in this case, with Churchill allying with Stalin, he was able to stop the Holocaust, to stop the mass murder of people and the genocide that was going on. That is what we are trying to succeed in this goal. We have been fighting Syria. Once we defeated ISIS, we could change our course of actions. But anyway, side opposition has not given us analysis on why Turkey, as opposed to Assad, will be able to defeat Islamic State. We see that Turkey has a conflict of interest. They were very reluctant in joining the coalition against ISIS. As they pointed out, as opposition pointed out, their members of their society might join ISIS. They've been treating their military people in their hospital. They had, up until recently, financial gains from buying oil from ISIS. They are not a stable member of the coalition. They are not motivated to take out ISIS. Assad, on the other hand, is. They're closer to home. Assad is also in danger from losing to ISIS. So he understands that he needs to defeat them now. He has been fighting against them all along. He has shown that he's willing to defeat them and to combat them. We cannot trust Turkey to do this because they've shown inconsistencies in the past. They also threw around some other examples on America, Saudi Arabia, and things like that. But they haven't given us a single concrete solution to ISIS. And as we pointed out, we don't have time anymore to spend thinking about a solution. We have to act now before ISIS grows to proportions that we cannot control. Assad doesn't need to be the most powerful army. Turkey may be the fourth most powerful army in the world, but he is powerful enough to stop ISIS because with the help that we give him now, he will be able to do this. We see that he, no thank you. We see that he is willing and he is able, has the strategies, and he can empower them and take them down. Furthermore, we saw in Kobani that Turkey wasn't prepared to send in its army to stop ISIS from massacring the Kurds, and only very grudgingly agreed to join the alliance. They are absolutely not the solution. We cannot trust the rebels because they are scattered. We cannot trust anyone in order to take them out. And we really need to act now. We cannot afford to wait any longer. Basically, in addition to that, we believe that Assad will be able to win. The fact that he lost in the past is irrelevant because 50% of ISIS is in Syria. So once he takes them out, they lose their safe zone, and it will be much easier to control them in Iraq. In addition to that, with training and targets, his army will be much stronger than ISIS. He's organized, one front, unlike the rebels who are scattered, unlike Turkey who isn't motivated, unlike the coalition that doesn't want to send in boots. Because side opposition has not shown us a proper alternative option, and because we need to act now, and Assad is our only option, in the interest of protecting human lives, we beg you to propose. Thank you very much.
819. Thank you very much for that speech, Abishal. I would now like to call upon the third speaker of the opposition team, Andreas.
Yeah, my phone is really slow. Sorry.
You want to use my pen?
Oh, it's just, it doesn't react.
It's
oh,
loading.
it reacts. It's really slow, sorry.
Android.
Yeah, I need to find that. Alright. So the team proposition came out and told us that they would do anything that there is in their power to stop ISIS. They said that no matter the cost, they will stop ISIS. What they're trying to say here is that even though we're violating the moral principles that actually keep democracy, that keep the principles of the United States, even though it's not efficient, even though there are better alternatives, we still do it. And we're saying as team opposition that it's morally wrong to do. We're saying that it's inefficient. And we're saying that there are other better alternatives. And I'll go into my three clashes of today's debate. So the first one is morals. So the third proposition speaker came up and told us that, well, we previously worked with Stalin, right? And then my second speaker came up and told you that, well, it led to the Cold War. What about that? And she said that it's just an example, it doesn't really matter. So obviously team proposition doesn't really matter what happens in the long term, right? They just want to put an end to ISIS. And we're saying that it doesn't really happen if they're doing that, which I'll prove to you in my second class. So we're saying that this example exactly shows what will happen if we work with Stalin. Because in the future, we will basically have a more severe worse situation in the long run because of the proxy war between the Saudi Arabia, Iran, Sunnis, and Shias, and multiple other reasons which I'll prove to you later. So we came up and told you that the USA stands for democracy, and they basically agreed. However, they said that the USA does not stand for what ISIS is standing for. And they didn't really give us But then they're saying that they want to cooperate with a dictator. We see that's a major contradiction from the proposition side, because on one hand, they're saying that they're not supporting what ISIS is doing, but on the other hand, they're supporting what the dictator is doing. And we're saying that those are both violations to what the United States are standing for, but somehow they're valuing the other more than the other. So we're saying that, why is it morally wrong? We said that, well, first of all, we should never, ladies and gentlemen, cooperate with a dictator. Why is that? Well, we're saying that not just is it wrong to cooperate with a dictator, but also because the US will lose credibility. The team proposition didn't have any response to this at all throughout their 3 speeches. What we're saying is that when Sunni Muslims, when Shia Muslims are looking at the US, when they're cooperating with Assad, what are they seeing? They're seeing that there are 2 alliances that they equal each other. Right? So we're saying that they're so associating the US with a dictator. And somehow this Western world is now the bad world. And therefore they're willing to support the Sunnis. And we are also saying by implementing this motion, we're actually legitimizing what he has done in the past. Because now we're just saying that what he has done in the past, which was an exact quote from Team Proposition, is okay, that doesn't matter. So obviously from the view of Team Proposition, we can do whatever we want to. It doesn't matter what they have done in the past. And they didn't really give us any analysis as to how this doesn't worsen this situation. Well, we gave you an example with losing credibility. And we're saying that what will happen in the future when we're losing credibility? Well, in the future when people want cooperate with the US anymore, because they're not standing for the principles, because they're not standing for morality, because they think it's okay to cooperate with a dictator that has killed over 200,000 people, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, they will not cooperate with the US anymore. And that diminishes the US possibility to actually work with somebody else in the future. And therefore, it's harder to actually work out future problems. And we're also saying that the ISIS will gain more people because now they will have sympathy with ISIS. So we're saying that it's morally wrong, and therefore we should actually win this clash alone. We should win this clash. So going into the second clash of today's debate, efficiency. They said that Assad needs us a lot more than we need him. So if we don't really need him, why are we actually cooperating with him when it's morally wrong, when it doesn't make any difference? We don't see why that stands. And the proposition side didn't give us really any analysis as to why we cannot cooperate with Turkey. They just said they don't want to, which is a lie, which I will talk about in my third clash. So let's look at the power grip of the rebels. So what Assad actually wants to do, he wants to keep his power grip, right? So what he is doing is using his weapons on the people. We say that he knows that the US is going to combat his fight against ISIS. So he doesn't really have to do a lot to do it. And thereby we're also legitimizing his rule in doing so. So we're saying that he's not the optimal solution in this because he's using his forces elsewhere. And then we're saying that ISIS is going to get more people because of what I have told you before about people getting sympathy with ISIS. And also, they talked about Assad's behavior, right? So they said that somehow Assad is going to be a good guy. And then they said, well, no, he's not going to be a good guy, he's still going to be a bad guy, but we can control him. We asked this team opposition what stance they do take in this debate. And we asked, how can we exactly control them? They never gave us any analysis as to how we're going to control him. What we are saying is that a bad guy like Assad doesn't change. They somehow agree. What we are arguing here is that when he gets these weapons, when we're backing him, when we give him technology, what will happen if we eventually put an end to ISIS? He will turn his weapons back to the rebels in his country, ladies and gentlemen. We are not seeing this as a solution to the problem. So we're saying that it's not efficient as to, according to what we have told you and proven to you in this debate. Yes?
How are you planning on combating ISIS? We agree that this is a problem.
Yes, thank you. And they told us that Turkey is not a solution. This leads me to my third and final clash of today's debate, alternatives. So they came up and told us that we need another alternative. That is not what burden of proof is, ladies and gentlemen. That is not what we have to prove as team opposition. What we have to prove is that this is not a legitimate solution and this doesn't help. Anyhow, we do think there's another alternative that is better, and that is Turkey. So why is Turkey better in this solution? They didn't give us any analysis as to why it's worse. They just said it. They said that it wouldn't cooperate. We said that it would cooperate. Actually, they said if the US will be allying with Assad, they will not help anymore. They will just completely never work with the US again. That is a statement that they have made. But they will help the US if they'll fight against ISIS. So we're saying that because they have the fourth biggest military in the world, we're saying that they can do it. Also because they're in, they don't have a lot of big enemies in the Middle East. And because of it's morally wrong, because it's inefficient, and because there's a better alternative, we're so proud to oppose today's motion. Thank you.
7:54.